So this one's nice because they already give it to us in polar form. So when it's given to us in polar form, then it's really easy to multiply them together because all we need to do is multiply their radii together. And you can see for this one, there's nothing on the outside, so the coefficient is just 1. So your radius is just a 1 for both of those. So multiplying their radii together, you just get a 1. And then you can add their angles. So pi fourths plus 3 pi fourths is 4 pi fourths, so that's just pi. And if they ask us to leave this in polar form, you just leave it right there. And that's it. Okay. If you really wanted to, you can convert them back to standard form, which we're more familiar with, and then multiply them together and convert it all back to standard and make sure it makes sense. But I'm just going to keep going and just keep doing it in polar form because it's supposed to be showing us that polar form is nice when you have it. So if you're dividing things already in polar form, you just divide their radii, so 1 divided by 1 is 1, and subtract. So I'm getting the cosine of negative 2 pi fourths plus I times the sine of negative 2 pi fourths. And not really digging that negative 2 pi fourths, so if I simplify that, negative 2 pi fourths is of course the same thing as negative pi halves plus I times the sine of pi halves, or sorry, negative pi halves. And I don't really want to call it a negative angle, like I could, but I think their answer usually wants it between 0 and 2 pi. So instead of going backwards pi halves, I want to go forward 3 pi halves. So let's just make this the cosine of 3 pi halves plus I times the sine of 3 pi halves. Let's just leave it there. Okay, that's that. So basically when you're multiplying two numbers in trig form, you multiply their radii and add their angles. When you're dividing two numbers in trig form, you divide their radii and subtract their angles. And yeah, we'll do it again in another one.